才是在当汤富丽广场，拍摄了这个以社团举办的 Stop Asia Hate 的活动。现在来到Times Square， 这里有一个也是 ABC 举行的一个集会。ABC
是在美
对对。
美籍中的华人或者亚洲人举办的 ABC。
它具体在哪个位置呢？
就是在
Times Square。对。
哦，我知道了，他们是在时代广场的那个台阶。
哦，红台阶 ，OK。那这个是 Nasdaq 纳斯达克上市，在这里敲钟。
珠宝什么时候？
希望有这么一天。好的，梦想总是要有的 ，OK。对，好，希望有这么一天啊，成你的贵人 ，OK。那我们先搞定我们活动目的先，Starbucks可以一会才喝，因为他说3点钟啊。
你要喝 Starbucks 吗？
我不想喝啊。你那就是很多单车队伍单车的吧？
对，还是玩的。他们应该在那边。时报
广场 Times Square。时报广场这里不要坐，就在这里走。因为找一找先，对，找，因为附近好像有个麦当劳什么的，反正我们今天整天都3人行出来拍摄，一个是湖南，一个是李奶奶，一个是李那边。对，技术支持者。
是跟他们提现金。我是 Apple Pay。我是 PayPal。我要使用比特币。
听说是裸体民仔在佛罗里达给捉了，不知道放了出来没有。Mickey and Minnie。 有吗？有机会吗？
现在看不到。
哎呀，牛仔回来了，走一段时间不是说他在佛罗里达被捉了吗？裸体牛仔也不容易啊，50几岁，多冷的天他都在这里，这热对他来讲。Mickey。Minnie 也很热啊，Minnie 也戴口罩啊，你看，Minnie 有戴口罩。有机会吗？去到那边看看。应该算这里是了，对，应该这里是对。那这里也是一个活动，这个也是 Stop Asian。Times Square 时报广场。这里很多警察在这里了。这个集会应该是没有刚才福里广场那么大。哇，警察好多，2、4、6、8，十几个警察在这里 stand by 了。可是这个是一个多族裔的。所以今天从美国都不同的地方有不同的集会。哇，警察比这个还要多，现场有20几个警察 ，NYPD 好多。 他们一般都晚一点的。那现场就是这是就不是由社团举办的，就是应该是 ABC 美国出生的American born Chinese 举办的，所以今天我们就有几个活动。哦，这个和尚骗钱的，就是说，Hello， 你好 ，You speak Chinese?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you come here for the support the Stop Asia Hate?
Yeah, I also come here to treat the name of Jesus.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, but you are also ABC?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Flashing.com. So we have a YouTube.
from where?
Flashing.com.
Sure. Yeah, well, today is Easter. We're doing Easter today. So in the name of Jesus, they hate how we have each other, and especially against Asian people. We all love one another and care for them. Treat each other with respect and love.
Thank you. Happy Easter, Happy Easter. 那吴楠现在在帮我这个时报广场，对，吴楠在帮我做这个英文频道。哎呀，因为吴楠是美国传媒大学毕业的，所以他的学历是非常高的。OK， 所以吴楠加油！今天也打扮的很有记者范哦。哎，旁边的李奶奶怎么样？喂，小姐姐，你距离社交距离一点。哎，你看 ABC 就来了 ，OK， 就在这里，主流媒体马上来了。I saw ABC， 对，呀，因为刚才我就没有看到mainstream， 对，你看，呀，我们对，
尤其我们可以说，大家会看到我们的年轻的，甚至在这边出生的亚裔群体，我们可以看到他们的很多的声音。那么这里的这个年龄段也明显的偏向年轻化很多，可以说他们现在已经是我们的这个第二代、第三代跟
对，你看这个 ABC 就来了 ，ABC 就是主流的非常重要的一个媒体，对，就我们是主流的媒体，对，发声主流的媒体必须要来报道才行的，因为我们这些都是自媒体不够力量不够的，是不是？一定要主流的媒体来把我们的要讲的声音发出去。那这里就有社交距离啊。你刚才停的时候有没有按了那个？为什么没看到呢？就是停的时候你一定按一个有一个蓝色的出来了，要按一下 stop 这样子。不是现在 no， 那就是那我先有按是不是？
有啊。
对，我知道。ABC 的他就很重视在这里。呀。Protest right. Protest. 主流媒体来了。
我要充电器了。
你自己拿回去。这里就有不同的族裔来来 protest。
开始了，马上就要开始。他们去打破的
啊，
他们是打破的，
不同的团体。
That was the same thing. I never realized that. I was like first in the morning. You went to the 10 o'clock. Maybe. When you say it like that, it's... Yeah, it's cool. When I like start going through and looking. I have my laptop, but I thought that I would have
been able to.
Yeah. Every time we see each other, we kind of say, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
New York City! Guys, you look so beautiful right now! Asian Americans across the country, all over the world, we've been targeted, we've been attacked, we've been picked on, and we've witnessed our elders get assaulted all over this country. Today, we stand up and we're in Times Square where we take over. This is where we belong. When I said Times Square, everyone told me no. Everyone said Times Square is too crazy. 2 weeks ago, we brought 10,000 people to Chinatown, and we brought that energy there. Stop Asian hate is taking over all over the signs every 5 minutes. We need the whole country, all our allies to know what we've been going through. Stop attacking our elders. Stop attacking our sisters. I'm right here. Fight me. Fight me. Leave my elders alone. I look around, I see everyone, Asian, black, Hispanic, brown, all types of people. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks
I
like.
need you to make some noise. We've been silent for too long, and look where it's got us. Our elders have told us to keep quiet. Put your head down. Don't be noticed. Don't make any trouble. I say, fuck that! I'm here to make some noise. I'm here to be seen. I need the whole country to see me. This is an Asian man in Times Square, screaming on the top of his lungs, fighting for all Asian Americans all over the world, because I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing the disrespect. So today we make a change. This is community. This is love. 4,000 reported hate crimes. 200% increase in Asian hate crimes since the pandemic. 3 blocks from here, where we'll be marching later, a 65-year-old was brutally assaulted and had the doors closed on her. That is the Asian American experience in this country. We get dragged through the dirt. People pick on us. We fall to the ground. But I say the harder we fall, the harder we get back up. We are proud people. We are resilient people. Together we are stronger. Together we can defeat them. They hate seeing Black, Asian, Latins, minority groups stand together. Together we are the majority. New York City, I love you guys. Today I need you to make noise because we've been too quiet. It's gotten us nowhere. Right. I need you guys to make crazy noise, especially when we march down Times Square. We're not scared. We have no fear, and that's why we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, we need to keep this energy, this hype at all times. When we're standing here, when we're marching down, when we're walking in the subways, when we're chilling, we need to make sure that we have energy. The entire world is watching us. Make some noise! Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Make some noise for yourself because you're so damn beautiful. And you're all seen. I see all of you. All right, guys. At this time, first off, let's give Jack a round of applause. At this time, we've got a bunch of speakers just for you guys. We'd like to bring up, she killed it 2 weeks ago at our rally at Columbus Park. Please give it up for Alice Soy!
Check. How to describe myself as an Asian American woman right now? I used to walk on the street, go on the subway, and turn the music so loud. I'm a musician, a teacher, and I want to feel the sound in my bones. Instead, I'm scared of having my teeth or head knocked off my orange-seated throne. Every day, I gotta choose my commute depending on my mood. Do I go through the lesson in my head, keep my eyes down on my shoes? No, instead, I have to stay alert to all around me. On a good day, I'm listening to a podcast out of 10 on a volume of 3. How do I begin to explain the daily negotiations when news, media, and law don't acknowledge the racial motivations? 360 West 43rd, I used to live next door. Will it be me or my mom you'll shut down off the concrete floor? What if I spoke up? How you like that? I'm dynamite, I'm a firecracker, and I won't be typecast. I won't stand for society's erasure of my identity. I'm here for good measure, for no one's pleasure, for us and our entities. Strong like chrome, I cannot be sanded down, and unlike a cassette tape, I won't be rewound. Even with my small feet, I won't let me be found. I can step in and out of Chinatown for my words to be heard and found. Woo! My dad emigrated from Hong Kong, so my last name's Hoy is Cantonese. But I'm actually Shane. Y'all weak at your knees. As MC Jin says, y'all better learn some Chinese. But being Asian is more than just being from China. I'm a member, a representative of the collective from major to minor. AAPI is a political term for Asian American Pacific Islander. It's not just about the East Asians or me that you hear rhyming here. For the South Asians, brown Asians, black Asians in our society, undocumented Asians, adopted Asians, more than obeyers of filial piety. Shouts to Tony De La Rosa and Dr. Kevin Nadal. We must be more inclusive than the diversity and equity institutional walls. Go fund me. Go fund us in our neighborhoods, our needs and wants. Don't need the blue eyes white supremacy dragon slanted, tilted, afloat. Remember, the system is built on the backs of black people and labor. When we divide ourselves up, we ain't doing anyone no favors. Maxine Hong Kingston reminds me of my fellow warrior women. And I want you to listen to the LGBTQ trans fans, the non-binary people and visions. We must have more than just my mom's good luck superstition. Trust y'all, we need to do more learning and listening on our mission. We're no model minority, we're the global majority. Our voices together are stronger than any authority. So my call to action is for us to truly unite. We cannot do this alone. We need each other in this fight. Justice is not just is, it's for just us. We cannot take the master's tool to rectify or make just. We can call to those in power to help our communities, but we must step off each other's subway stops for true cross-coalition unity. Let's stand together, and if you need some perspective, remember that this is lifelong work as one intersectional collective. We are striving for liberation of our marginalized people. Each one of us is a hero. Rest in power, 13-year-old Adam Toledo. Black, brown, indigenous, Asian, BBIA, BIPOC solidarity. We're here united. We will rise today. Black Lives Matter as we stand on Munsee Lenape indigenous lands. Deep within us, we're together in our hearts, souls, and our hands. It's 4/4, the anniversary of Dr. King's final breath countdown. AAPI history, lives, and arts in schools, ethnic studies is just the starting ground. We must eradicate anti-blackness. It's not simply just stop Asian hate. Ask, how can I use my voice to activate and stop all hate? And beyond that, I'm asking that we spread so much love, as powerful as the firebird's flames and the peace of a soaring dove. And to tell every kid we know in our lives and see, you matter and know your voice can set you free. For my grandfathers and my grandmother, who I have never met, I am your wildest dream from each day, sunrise to sunset. Today is Qingmingjie, a day that literally means clear and bright. In many Asian cultures, it's a day of rituals for our ancestors' spirit and might. And for them, for our ancestors, for our presence, for our future, for all of us to hear, it's not just we belong here, it's we belong together. Say it after me. I shine bright with my golden light. I shine daughter and son, my mom and my dad. I will protect all our loved ones. As my students say, our joy is revolutionary because we are golden and we are worthy. Today, I want to end with Isang Bagsak. Isang Bagsak is a solidarity club that originated in the cross-cultural fight for rights, unifying Filipinx communities and Latinx communities through Larry Leon and Cesar Chavez. Isang Bagsak literally translates to one down, and it is a unity clap to signal unity in movements together, and that this moment is one down of many more to go. I learned this from Tony De La Rosa, and I am not the culture bearer of Isang Bagsak. I am the culture sharer of Isang Bagsak. I, along with all of you, will start clapping together slowly. As we gain momentum and the clap gets faster and louder, pulsating here in New York City, I will say Isang Bagsak, and right after you hear that, we will clap one time as a collective. Let's do it. Start clapping, everyone. And faster and louder for everyone to hear. Isang Bagsak. Isang Bagsak. Jayo, I am our soy. Thank you.
Thank you.
New York City, make some noise! Woo! Killed it again. 2 rallies in a row. Electric. All right, guys, we've got so many more speakers for you guys tonight, but before we get to the next one, let's all stand in solidarity. When I say we are golden, you say we are worthy. We are golden. We are worthy. We are golden. We are worthy. Awesome, awesome. All right, Jack, we got our next speaker to represent the Answer Coalition. Make some noise for Rachel Yu.
Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. I want to start us off with a chant to get our energy live, to get us really in where we need to be in our minds. And this is a chant that's really important to me. Stop the hatred, stop the violence. Asian Americans won't be silent. Stop the hatred, stop the violence. Asian Americans won't be silent. Stop the hatred, stop the violence. Asian Americans won't be silent. Stop the hatred, stop the violence. Asian Americans won't be silent. Stop the hatred, stop the violence. Asian Americans won't be silent. Woo! Woo! As you might be able to tell, my voice is very, very tired. We've been in the streets yesterday. We were in the streets last week. We had 60 actions across the country. Thousands of people took to the streets last Saturday to demand an end to the anti-Asian violence. And it wasn't just Asian Americans who called those actions. The media continues to try to divide us, to act as though it's only Asian people that care about Asian issues, and to act as though somehow the Black community and the Asian community have not stood in solidarity with each other for hundreds of years. That's completely false. And last Saturday, we had thousands of people come out in the streets to actions that's called by Asian organizers, called by Black organizers, called by Latino organizers, called by every single type of person that you can imagine, because every single person who's come together has understood that our struggle is the same. It's all the same struggle. That we're fighting the same beast. The enemy is the same. So whether we talk about state-sanctioned violence, of police killings of Black and brown people in this country, or we talk about the fact that politicians go on the airwaves and they say racist, anti-China, anti-Asian sentiments everywhere you can find it. It's the same system that connects us all, because it's the same system that is oppressing all of our communities. from the Answer Coalition, that's Act Now to Stop War and End Racism Coalition, and I want to talk about that. I've been an anti-war activist for many years here in New York City, and I want to say that it is our time as Asian Americans to rise up, to stand up, and not only do that, but to take our historic place in the movement. And that historic place is at the helm, at the reins of the anti-war struggle, to fight for our liberation here and for our liberation of our people back home. So when we talk about hate crimes, I think the most important thing that we need to recognize, all these politicians keep going on the media and all they say is that it's bigots. It's bigots, it's individuals, it's people who are racist, and that's true. Of course there are racists and bigots who are committing these crimes. But where do they come from? Where does racism come from against Asian Americans? There's a long history in this country of racism that we have faced. In the 1800s, the only reason why we are in Chinatowns today are because they killed our people. They massacred our people. 18 Chinese people were lynched in 1871 in a single night in Los Angeles. We can go down the list of our history, but they have killed us over and over again, and we have had to come together to stay safe. That is our legacy in this country. But it's not just being terrorized. Our legacy is also fighting back and resisting. Whether it's Yuri Kochiyama or Grace Lee Boggs or any of our sisters, our brothers, our family that have been in this struggle, we have always fought side by side with the Black Liberation Movement. We have always fought for our liberation together. And so what I want to say is that when we're talking about racism, we're talking about where it comes from. We have to only look a year in the past to see that all of the anti-Asian rhetoric, all of the anti-China rhetoric that we have seen in the media is part of fueling what's happening. The U.S. has had a propaganda war that has been non-stop, that is calling China the enemy, calling Chinese people the enemy. And the reality is, our enemy are the millionaires in Congress and the billionaires that they serve. That's our enemy. They want to blame China and Chinese people for this pandemic. But the reality is that it is 100% the fault of the U.S. government. The reason why we're in this situation. That's 100% who's at fault. We've had more than 500,000 people die from COVID. You know that our communities are ruined. Businesses, homes, lost, jobs, lost. Our families are struggling. I know so many people who don't know how they're going to get by next month. And all these politicians have to say to us, all they have to say is, you're going to get your check. Just wait. Just wait for your check. And maybe it'll be $2,000. And it ended up being $1,400. But, let me not say nothing about that. But that's the reality. They are not caring about us and our people. What they're doing instead is they're putting all of the blame on China, and all of that blame on China comes back on us, because that's what's happening. We are being scapegoated, friends. We are being scapegoated as we have always been scapegoated in this country. I have family members, extended family members, who I sat at the table with, had a meal with, who told me what the fuck it was like to grow up in a horse stall from Japanese internment. It's disgusting, and it's wrong, and it's what's happened to us in this country. And so what I want to say with that is that that is the history. We have been scapegoated time and time again for the U.S.'s aggression abroad. Our people have been killed in the millions in Asia. They killed us in the Vietnam War. They killed us literally during the bombing of Laos, which is the most bombed country in history. They killed us during the Korean War. They killed us in the Philippines. And today, the Philippines remains a colony of the United States. And so when we talk about racism, the racism against Asian people in Asia, when bombs are dropped on their countries there, that's anti-Asian violence. That's anti-Asian violence too. So we are friends. We are all tied, deeply tied together with our sisters, our brothers, our family around the world, and our struggle here in America. Racism cannot end against Asian Americans until we stop the U.S. imperialist wars abroad in Asia. It is impossible, and we must do it, and we must do it together. As a Southeast Asian, I grew up in Cambodia town. And when you grow up in a town with refugees, a refugee community, you see firsthand what the U.S. has done to us. So we must recognize that our enemy is those in Congress that continue to pass $700 billion in war budget, but tell us they don't got shit for us when we need it. It's ridiculous. They have no money to give to us when we're struggling, but they can bomb people abroad. So let's recognize how we are all interconnected, and let's build a movement. Because friends, this is a movement, not a moment. This is a movement, not a moment. It's about the fight against hate crimes, it's about anti-Asian violence, and it's about fighting for the dignity that we deserve in our communities. The right to a job, the right to a home. We need health care for our elders. I know so many people who don't even get language access in hospitals. When we fight for our communities, it means not only fighting against the violence and against the hatred, but it means fighting for a better life that our families wanted for us here, but we have not yet seen. So let's stand up together. So I want to ask you, if this message reaches you and you say, I'm coming to these protests, I'm scared, I don't know what to do. The answer is to get organized. The answer is to join this fight, to connect all of our struggles together. I have been fighting on the front lines against police brutality for many years because that's my struggle too. It doesn't matter. We have to fight for every single one of us, because if one of us is not free, none of us are free. So join me in building this movement. Come talk to me, get involved. Enter Coalition, you can talk to me and join this struggle, and you can get involved with any organization that you see, because that's how we make change. We build institutions of people's power, and then we actually challenge these systems and tell them that we're not going to take it anymore, and demand better for our communities, and demand an end to racism once and for all. So I'm going to end on this chant. I want you to chant with me because it's really powerful when we all stand together. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Asian hate has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Asian hate has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Asian hate has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Asian hate has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Asian hate has got to go. Thank you all, thank you all.
All right, guys, fantastic. At this time, we'd like to welcome, please, onto the stage, Queen Jean and Joelle.
I am a Black trans woman. I am a Black Lives Matter activist and organizer. I have been brutalized by the police, as every Black Lives Matter organizer in this city has, by the same police officers that you see around here. I have been arrested right here. I have been arrested throughout the summer. And every time I still come back out, I'm doing that for Black people, but I am doing that for all oppressed people. I am coming back out fighting for my Asian siblings, for my
各位朋友，大家好，现在在这个时报广场有一个 Stop Asia Hate 的活动。哎呀，站了几个小时，坐一下。
It's radical love. You got to start with the love in yourself. It's a story about you live so long with living ourselves. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. I myself struggle with self-hate. And today's resurrection day and Christianity, which I am, I struggle with self-hate, hating myself as a gay black man, as a queer gay black man. And so I had to do the work with the self-love. To be in love, everyone else, regardless of race, regardless of how you look. And so there are ages, it's better, and all of the pain, it's better to the life. But Make some noise! We are worthy! We are worthy! Alright guys, our next speaker, please give a warm welcome for TV Ken! I'm sorry, I apologize, I mispronounced the name. It's Stevie Park, I'm so sorry. Make some noise!
I am a first-generation woman, activist, and saver of humanity. We are here today in the face of the painful string of Asian hate crimes to shed light on the Asian American experience, which is so silent and oppressed that we're scared to speak out of fear that nobody might believe us, that we're so oppressed we get dehumanized and silenced in the media. I am only one Asian woman out of a very large, beautiful, and expansive diaspora of many other ethnicities and faces that belong to my fellow Asian sisters out here, to every other Asian or bi-POC woman in this audience right now. I see you, I hear you, I love you, I'm here for you. I know there's more women out here who have more to say, and this is the opportunity for us to have our voices heard. I know that there are stories that aren't being voiced right now, and I encourage everyone to join me today in proudly telling our stories, standing here together to fight for our Asian sisters, our fellow bi-POC communities and sisters who we must fight with and alongside. We must center the Asian woman voice and the greater bi-POC voice in this conversation. And when I say, I mean, yes, listen to leading Asian women, but also listen to all bi-POC women voices, including queer and trans women voices in this conversation, in our movement against stopping our hate, because we only stop our hate when we stop white supremacy, and we only stop white supremacy when we come together united in solidarity. As Asian women in America, we have always been fetishized and exoticized as commodities of desire, not people, but as dehumanized bodies, commodified objects, historically and presently, mostly through media portrayal as weak, obedient, docile, compliant, submissive, tiny, quiet, as your model minority. And now Asian women are murdered because of it. We have to realize now that the model minority stereotype was meant to define us, was not meant to define us as Asian Americans, but that it was rather more created to define other bi-POC as deficient and inferior to white people by using us as their proxy, as their juxtaposition of working hard and staying quiet, blending in well enough to be accepted, when we know it has always been a false sense of meritocracy. It was never an accurate portrayal of us, but rather our misunderstanding. I've been cornered as men say, we love you long time. I've been hit on because I'm Asian and told it's a compliment. I've been told I'm pretty for an Asian. I've been told that my eyes are tiny and that it's a compliment. Your fetishization of me is not flattering. Fetishization is erasure. Fetishization is dehumanization. And it's what reinforces these harmful stereotypes that causes our violence to be overlooked, minimized, and illegitimized time and time again. It's not a preference. If it's rooted in your objectification of me. If I am your preference, then I am your victim. These Asians are being attacked, but we also have to see how as a greater monolith, which erases our existence of our greater communities as a whole. It is harmful to group all AAPI into this monolith of one pan-ethnic label as Asians, because we are also different, and so our stories. South Asian, we also include South Asians, Black and Brown Asians, Latinx Asians, Arab Asians, queer Asians, trans Asians, undocumented Asians, economically disadvantaged Asians, everybody type Asians. In the fight against white supremacy, we also need to have some very tough conversations about how we exceeded other Asians and about the divisive classism, colorism, heterosexism, and other toxic isms that continue to exist within our own communities. I want to stress today that I know a lot of people in my community, especially our older generations, are pointing their fingers at our Black community and blaming them for our attacks, because that's what we do when we don't acknowledge the way systemic racism and white supremacy has pitted our two communities against each other since the birth of this country. And then we see a staggering amount of Black people targeting Asian people in this country again, and we don't talk about that. We've seen this before in history with the LA riots 25 years ago, 1992. Our Korean American community learned what the lack of political power and cultural misunderstandings between minority groups can do to us. It can destroy us and our community if we don't start talking about it. If we don't find a way to work together, it will happen again. It's already happening in front of our eyes in our very own city. The model minority myth was created as an agent of white supremacy to divide our community, showing this false idea of us as successful as the model minority to just suppress all other minority experiences. And I am here today to break that with you, to uplift all minorities together. And that is what we do together, because then we don't repeat the behaviors of our oppressors, because we will be better than them. This stops today. Our liberations are bound within each other. When we realize that, we begin to heal our communities and achieve true liberation together for us all. When we say dismantle systemic racism, we don't just mean Black versus white, we mean oppressed versus oppressed. Dismantle racism between Black and Asian communities and across all markets. And dismantle transphobia, homophobia, sexism, misogyny, and all other toxic isms and myths that we have literally kept fighting with each other to distract from fighting them being white supremacy and its systemic oppressive working against us. And to do this, whether or not we are on the same page or not, we need to have the conversation around policing. More policing is not the solution when the law enforcement system in this country was inherently only built to serve, protect, and the minds and bodies of white people. What about our minds and bodies? What about the fragile minds and bodies of 19-year-old Christian Hall, a Chinese American boy who was shot by the police 7 times with his hands up during what was a mental health emergency, where he should have been tended to with care. The policing system of this country has always endangered the lives of Black, brown, Indigenous, Native, and AAPI lives every day, the lives of sex workers, low-wage workers, homeless people, trans people, queer people, undocumented people, disabled people, and all other lives of people that lie at these very intersections in life.
今天的组织者上一次在 Chinatown 那边是弄了一个非常大的集会，1万多人，然后杨安泽也有去。今天这个聚会的人就比较少了，大概现场应该差不多大几百人了，还不到1000人，所以活动也是你很难做到很多人的，就是第一次可能人很多，再来就是不一定很多人的。这现场倒是很多警察，这里是又空气比较好，这人与人之间的距离呀 OK， 然后这是时报广场。美国为什么歧视亚裔啊？这个问题我也不知道，反正，那这个男的讲的不错，就刚才那个女的讲的就一般般，哇！
With that being said, we need to respect all our neighbors as they're walking. Do not respond to agitators. We will have our own security with us, and we will have angels with us. We will march to the building where our 65-year-old woman was kicked, attacked, and 3 security guards did not do anything except they closed the door on her. We'll go there and we'll sit down to symbolize to all people who feel left on the floor and alone. And we are there with them, and they're not alone. So give it up to the next speaker and give it up for yourselves. Give it up for Jeffrey Amura.
You know, this isn't how I thought I'd be making my Broadway debut. My name is Jeffrey Omura. I'm an artist, an activist, a labor leader, and I'm a candidate for New York City Council District 6. But today, I stand before you as a gay Asian man. There's a whole lot to talk about today. I could talk about how the burden of the Asian American, no matter how long our families live here, we will never fully be considered American. I've experienced it my entire life with the question, but where are you really from? And as we experience these anti-Asian attacks, we hear it as the perpetrators shout, "You don't belong here," and "Go back to China." I could talk about Trump and how his vile rhetoric started this anti-Asian violence. I could talk about how this is nothing new, how we have a 150-year history of violence against Asian Americans starting at the railroad, from the LA Chinese Massacre of 1871, the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the Rock Springs Massacre of 1885, the Asian Exclusion Act of 1924, the internment of Japanese Americans, the wars in Korea and Vietnam, the murder of Vincent Chin, and the destruction of LA's Koreatown. But our history isn't taught in schools, so how is anyone supposed to know that this isn't new? This is just the latest installment. I could talk about the model minority myth, how it's used to divide communities of color and to ignore the very real needs of Asian Americans. I could talk about how 1 in 4 Asian Americans in New York lives in poverty. I could talk about how Asian Americans, like other communities of color, have experienced disproportionately higher rates of death during this pandemic, and yet those statistics are rarely talked about in the press. I could talk about how just before the pandemic, Governor Cuomo vetoed a bill that would have required New York State to collect demographic data on different Asian American communities. So we may never know how this pandemic affected Korean Americans versus Filipino Americans versus Chinese Americans. And we won't be able to use that data to create better policy that reflects the needs of these different communities. I could talk about how this is the first time in 30 years without an Asian American in the president's cabinet. And yes, we are grateful for Vice President Kamala Harris, but it's not enough. It's not enough during this time of hate and violence. It's not enough ever. I could talk about what it's like walking into a New York City gay bar, only for someone to shove their hand against my chest and shout, "No Asians." Yeah, I could talk about that. But I was told today was a day to empower and uplift. And we have a lot to celebrate. And so instead, I'd rather talk about America's sexiest man, Stephen Young, who just this month became the first Asian American man nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. Now, as an actor myself, this is a big deal. But why does this matter for all of us? Most of you remember Jeremy Lin and the Jeremy Lin effect when this tall, handsome Chinese hunk of a man joined the New York City Knicks, kicking off Linsanity and capturing the imagination of the American public. And suddenly, not only was it easier for me to get a phone number at the bar, and it was, but all kinds of doors started opening. In comedy, when performers like Awkwafina and Bowen Yang and Joel Kim Booster and Ali Wong make us laugh, we get a little bit stronger. And when we show up to the movie theater and help Crazy Rich Asians break box office records, we get stronger. When right here on Broadway, Lea Salonga, Ann Harada, Telly Leung, Ashley Park, Ruthie Ann Miles, Philippa Sue, and Ava Noblezada make waves starring in shows, we get stronger. Now everyone, do me a favor and pull out your phones. Open up Spotify, open up Apple Music, and you're gonna follow a few artists for me. Joji, MMX Toon, Stephanie Poetry, Yeji, and Nikki. These trailblazing Asian American music artists are showing us what's possible. An America where these incredible artists are topping the charts is an America I want to live in, because it makes it a little bit harder for them to say we don't belong here. It's so great to see all of you out here today. I know this has been an incredibly difficult and terrifying year for many of us. So take care of yourselves. That comes first. But when you're ready, we have got to keep showing up for each other. This is our mission, to get more involved in the Asian American community, to find a local service organization that needs donors and volunteers, to find ways to support each other, to chaperone our elders when they walk to the store, to find an Asian-owned restaurant to order dinner from tonight, to continue organizing and bringing this diverse community together. And right here in New York City, as we figure out how to overcome this year of violence, there are no easy solutions. There are no easy answers. We cannot police our way out of this. But I know that representation will be key to moving forward. In this year's mayor's race, I know you all know the name Andrew Yang, but do you know Art Chang? Look him up. Did you know that Asian Americans make up 15% of the city's population, and yet service organizations dedicated to the Asian American community only receive 1.4% of social services contracts? But what do we expect when Asian Americans hold only 2 out of 51 city council seats, and both of those council members are term limited? So after this election, they'll be gone. Who will represent us? Representation matters. We need seats at the table advocating for the needs of New York's Asian American communities and leading tough conversations about how we are going to put this genie of hate and violence back into the bottle. This year we have great Asian American candidates running for office all across this city who deserve your attention. We are the leaders we have been waiting for. Thank you. Give it up for Jeffrey Amora. New York City, make some noise! New York, do you agree that fighting hate with more hate amplifies hate? Right? New York City, ask you a question. Come on, be a little louder than that. Yeah. So in order to fight hate, we must understand what hate is. Right? Hate is the most contagious and deadly virus we've ever seen. Hate is fear. Hate is separation. What are the symptoms of hate? We've seen it. Being attacked, anger, frustration, tunnel vision, can't think of anything else. How is hate contracted? In the digital world, someone can send you a message, a nasty voicemail of hate. You don't even need to be in the presence of someone to receive hate. Or in a busy city like this, you can be driving to work, someone might pull up next to you and curse at you for whatever reason. And what does most people do? We roll our window down and we retaliate. They say something racist, we do the same. Who's seen that before? Every day. Then we bring that same energy to work, to our families. We go home, first thing we do is complain about the terrible incident. And people try to build compassion and rapport through your energy and frequency. And that is how the virus is spreaded. That's how hate is shared. So in order to fight hate, we must understand what love is. Love is divine. Love is in all of you. Love is no separation. It's abundance. What are the symptoms of love? Who's been in love before? Make some noise for what that feels like. Who's been in love with their own life? I love myself. I love you. What are the symptoms of love? Happiness, laughter, giving. If you're in love, I want to give you everything. I want you to feel love. I want you to feel the way I feel. How does one contract love? Being around loving people, having nice images around you, laughing, receiving cute text messages, seeing YouTube clips of dogs and cats and tigers and monkeys all playing together. That makes you happy. Or you can meditate. That's my medicine. So if you're in love with your life and that same man pulls up next to you and curses you out for whatever reason, I'm not going to roll my window down for that. I might look at him, acknowledge him that he's there, acknowledge that he's in pain, because most people in pain are the one who gives the hate. Do you agree? I might acknowledge their pain, maybe even apologize for their situation or whatever they're going through, and I keep it pushing.
And them, that man who expected a reaction from you, you know, he just got disrupted. He thought you were going to retaliate. And maybe just by your kindness, just by looking at him and praying for him, wishing that he heals. He doesn't go home and yell at his family. He doesn't yell at the next person. And that's how we defeat hate with light and love. And we start by doing it today. I want everyone to put their hands together like this. Repeat after me. I am light, I am love, I am healed. I am light, I am love, I'm healed. I pray for light, love, and healing for all beings in the world and all the universe. And so it is. They would make noise when Asians are fucking speaking on stage. So we make more noise. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. New York City, we're gonna march and we're gonna let everyone know that this is our home. This is our fucking home. Let's go.
结束了吗？还是
要人行到那个前一阵子那个市场街。
现在要游了，游，因为现在没有太阳了，可以游。OK， 现在他们也要游行一下啊。
New York, we're making a right on 46. Let's go, make some noise. Show me what community looks like. 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 New York, we're not going down 46. We're marching straight down Times Square. Together, united.
Asian lives matter.
Asian life matter. Very good. Are you going to do one in Flushing? Because Flushing need that too. Because we cannot organize it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really have to back up.
Yeah.
Rachel was organizing. Rachel, who the person who spoke after me, organized one in Flushing 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Where is it?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. You do it in Flushing.
There was a Flushing.
Oh, okay. You're very good. Yeah. Okay. Are you a high school girl?
No, I'm 31.
Huh?
I'm 31.
Already? Wow. But actually, you can in the political. It's very good speaking.
Oh, yeah.
I think you and two boys is good. Jack and
Oliver.
yeah. It's a very good one. The other part of Kim is so. Okay, you are good. Cindy, right? Your name is Cindy, right?
Alice.
Alice. Okay. Very good.
What's your name?
Lina. I do YouTube also. Okay, you can see my YouTube. Lina May. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I record everything. You yeah. This is what community looks like. 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 We are golden. 请大家订阅我的频道啊，可以看到纽约的最新的资讯。哇，好多警察在后面呢，也是很多自行车，警察在后面。警察啊？那我们走不远。哎，吴楠呢？吴楠在哪里啊？
我也不知道。
因为这现在没有太阳。哎 ，sorry。警察都有20几个，那慢慢跟一下，对，因为这个现在没有太阳啊，没有太阳可以走久一点。谢谢大家啊！希望大家订阅我的频道。我拍的不是很好了，技术不行，可是我的信息量是很大的啊。对，我的技术不行，可是我的信息量很大。对，就是你想知道法拉盛纽约多一点资讯，就请订阅我的频道。技术不行，信息量够。肯定要找一下先。一般般了。对，因为好像刚才我们中文的游行，市区的游行就没有声音了，就是他们这个是 ABC 组织的，所以就一直在叫啊，一直在走，一直在叫，所以2个游行队伍的分别就是一个叫，一个不叫，叫还是挺有，叫是挺有激情的。谢谢。我都是最后一个，因为我走的不快的。对，就是一边讲。一边走一边讲啊叫啊，这样子会比较有激情。差不多走不了了，我也走不了了。吴楠在哪里啊？撤了，走不了了。今天站了很久了，对。
差不多，一手不动。
就经常闹才行的。闹1场半场不行。我都走了蛮长的时间了。
我打电话给。
对。
他应该听不懂。
我走不动了，真是。
他听不懂。
对。就去年6月的时候是很多。
上次的，这个。菲律宾的女的在这里被打啊，
就在这里哦，难怪哦，现在来到菲律宾的女人被打的地方，哦，就在这里，就是在这里，那个菲律宾女人给人打了，就在这个地方哦。那就是这个地方，走一段时间有一个菲律宾女人被打了，就在这里。哦，很多警察围着。
New York City, they hate to see all the minority groups together because insulted, kicked, attacked for no reason on their way to church.
Shame! White shame.
3 security guards inside not only render her aid, but they closed the door on a 65-year-old woman. So together, we're going to honor that woman, and we're going to honor everyone who feels alone, anyone who's been on the floor. I'm going to ask everyone to sit down on a knee. Drop it, please. Invite everyone so we can invite our next speaker up. Together, united!
Together, united! Together, united! Together, united!
New York City, you guys are so beautiful. New York, show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Take it to the streets of Boston, police, no justice.
No peace.
I said take it to the streets of Boston, police, no justice.
No peace.
I said take it to the streets of Boston, police, no justice.
No peace.
He said take it to the streets of Boston, police, no justice.
No peace.
Take it to the streets of Boston, police,
No
no justice.
justice. No peace.
Take it to the streets of Boston, police,
No
no
justice. No peace.
Gonna make some noise like that speaker, make some noise.
New York, we stand for something because we want our future to be brave and fight for us. We are paving the way for the next generation. They look like you and I, our elders, our parents. They're tired of fighting. It's up to us, it's up to you. I want to introduce the next speaker. She's 19. Her name is Morgan. She's an Olympic gymnast. This is how she looks like. I ask everyone to get lower so we can all notice and pay respect to Morgan, our future.
How's everyone doing? As glad as I am to stand here before all of you beautiful people in unity, fighting for the injustice that we face today, I am disgusted that we have to do so. My name is Morgan Hurd. I'm a Chinese adoptee and I am Asian American. Growing up, it hardly ever dawned on me that my mother and I were of a different race. It didn't strike me until attending my predominantly white elementary school hearing remarks from my peers. I'm sure every single Asian person here knows exactly what I'm talking about. Getting told, getting called Ling Ling, getting told to go back to China, the mimicking of our small eyes, which ironically is now a trend, and getting asked to read a dog, and then getting told to take a joke. Well, newsflash, these aren't jokes, they're racist remarks. These racist remarks are so normalized because we don't want to cause trouble. So hey, if we're laughing, then it's all right, right? No! This is how they become normalized. These racist remarks are so normalized because no one speaks up and calls it out for what it is. Racism! This doesn't just fall on the Asian community either. Allies, we love and appreciate you, but stop just being allies and start being accomplices. Actively support us. Just posting that infographic on your Instagram story is not
19 Chinese immigrants for the widespread rumors that the Chinese community was killing whites wholesale. You choose? They were free. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 banned Chinese immigration for 20 years.
帮我拍一个照，拍所有的警察 ，OK。
And during World War II in 1942, Japanese immigrants, Japanese Americans were sent to internment camps because just like today, blame was being placed on the entire white.
警察有没有拍到啊？在这个方向拍。
It's just scratching the surface of the history of racism and systemic oppression towards Asian Americans. I'm disgusted that the people who claim to love the culture, anime, sushi, yoga, martial fashion, etc., don't love or appreciate the people. Why? If we're going to blame an entire race on this virus, how can you even have the sense to do so when so many of us were either born here or have been here and call this place our home? You cannot blame an entire race and placing the blame for the government's inadequate and incompetent response to COVID-19.
Out here protect their
You
property.
have to make way, you have to make way. Security vision is telling you guys to make way, clear a path for you. Thank you.
No justice! No justice! No justice!
Take it to the streets, abolish the police.
No justice!
Take it to the streets, abolish the police. No justice. Okay, come on back, Kevin. Open it up, open it up. Come on in, come on in. Y'all make some noise. Show some love for Morgan.
I found the dirty looks in the grocery store. Parents pulling their children further and further away from me, even though I was maintaining well over 6 feet distance. Not too long ago, I was walking down the street, and the children just reached my knees. Yes, I am scared of what may happen to me, but I am even more terrified. If the next case that I see on the news will be someone I know or one of their loved ones. I am a U.S. national team member for gymnastics.
这里就是早几天有一个65岁的菲律宾裔的妇女在这里被打的这个 building。
Here to help you realize that these people don't want me representing them, not because of my skill level, but because of my race. I have now realized I don't represent them. I represent all of you. I will not let this tear me down because I want to be part of the representation for our Asian youth. I want there to be people in all aspects of life, in all professions, where our Asian youth can look to and see someone that looks just like them. And it starts here. It's all of us fighting so that it is possible for them, so that they don't have to deal with this bullshit. We will be the representation for our Asian youth. Thank you.
My personal friend, give it up to Sammy Kim.
Hello. Hi, my beautiful Asian community, and everybody else that's coming out to show that you care. Thank you for being here. My name is Sammy Kim. I'm a queer, non-binary, Korean
依家未
American.
知，你到時
I'm
先
an
睇，因為
artist,
依家仲
a
影
healer,
緊，未
and
可
a
能
sex
未，你唔使等
liberator
住。
and a sex worker. I'm here because I have so much love for our people. And I'm here speaking today because for too long have I seen our people invisibilized and excluded from conversation, gaslit by our own peers in media, and statistics that our experiences don't matter. And because I am tired of living a beautiful life that is consistently ignored. Being Korean, being Asian, being queer, being a such positive person in the world, is a constantly struggle to find
这个大楼就是早几天有一个菲律宾妇女被打的这个大楼。
I'm grateful today to share this platform on the stage with so many other friends that are representing our community. It is largely intersectional. I have a lot of female, women, Asian speakers, women, black leaders, trans black leaders that I'm sharing the stage with. And I'm so grateful to be part of this community that was included today. And I hope that moving forward, we see more inclusion of queer and trans folks in the space. It's one step to start the conversation, but it's another step to include and invite people to share their experiences. And there's also a difference between being invited to and feeling comfortable because the space was created by people like you. And I'm very appreciative as people you can understand the feeling that it's not enough to be the one token representative. We need queer and trans Asian people as importantly organizing and creating these spaces as well. And you're queer to be active, you're not wondering if you're necessary or powerful that is by sharing it. There is no such thing as scarcity of space, because scarcity is the mindset of a colonizer who wants to conquer and divide us out of greed and insecurity and self-hatred. We must understand that there is an abundance of space for us to take up. And when we do it together, we are only stronger, we take more care of each other, we are protected, and we are vibrant. As a non-binary individual, I practice daily dissolving this idea of scarcity. This binary idea that there are only two options in life we must adhere to. It doesn't make sense to me that my self-expression must be limited to preconceived gender concepts of what it means to be a man or a woman. Why are we only given two options to describe ourselves as? Are we not more multifaceted beings? It is not that I am only masculine or feminine. I embody both. It is not that I am Korean and that I'm only American. I am both. I don't believe Asians are only either privileged or oppressed. We are both. We are given opportunities over some, while also patronized and neglected from other races. I don't believe that if Asians speak up and take up space, we are taking away space from Black liberation. We actually both have a duty to take up space and fight for each other's liberation. As well as the liberation for Latinx and Indigenous communities. Black liberation has done so much work to fight for civil rights for all of us in this country, including Asian Americans. And the liberation of Latinx and Indigenous people needs to be restored as well, because this was their land before European colonizers ransacked it and brought us all here out of their own exploitative, opportunistic gains. This world is not made up of only good guys and bad guys. There are both and The real enemy is not people. The real enemy is ideas. It is ideologies of hate and oppression that try to control us and limit our full potential because we're sold only a few options of what is acceptable and what is not. I am a proud, queer individual because to be queer is to be constantly critical of these existing oppressive systems of power, to be consistently deconstructing these ideas within myself and sharing that framework with others,
that I learned from who've done the work before me. To be queer is to live every day with this pursuit of full liberation. To be queer is to possess a deep desire to be free. To be queer is to celebrate life in the face of oppression. I found a vibrant community of queer agents within the nightlife scene of Brooklyn, meeting so many others like me who want to so desperately in a world that minimizes us, to be unapologetic and uninhibited about the joy and freedom we deserve when we accept and uplift each other. I am part of a community that celebrates the autonomy of our sexuality in a white supremacist society where our bodies are historically objectified, fetishized, stereotyped, emasculated, mocked, belittled, disrespected, murdered, raped, sold, and discarded. These things are not who I am as an Asian person. But sadly, it is how I'm seen and sexualized as an Asian person under the white male gaze. And as a sex worker, it is this gaze that I have learned to talk to myself as a means of survival. We're gonna have to talk. First things first, sex work is work. Sex work is a legitimate form of labor, just like any service of care, and that people turn to because it is an accessible means to make financial ends meet. It is a capitalist machine that forces all of us to sell our labor and bodies to exchange our productivity for financial security. Whether you're working at a fast food restaurant, you're a construction worker, you're an actor, an engineer, or even a U.S. Army officer. Sex work deserves protection and decriminalization, just like any other form of service work. People have this misconception that the hardest part of sex work is the sex part itself. They imagine it to be immoral and dirty to perform degrading sexual acts for someone else's pleasure, which is not even always the case. But for me, the hardest part about sex work is the emotional labor of holding space for men to feel uncomfortable. I consider sex work to be care work and healing work. Because when I do sex work, I'm trying to create a safe space for men to work out some of their most vulnerable, repressed sides in the bedroom that they cannot do with anyone else without monetary compensation. And through this work, I have become a professional at holding space, learning what it takes to make them feel comfortable and pleasure, just like the work of a therapist, or counselor, or spiritual guide and healer. To give someone a space where they can be their full self without shame, is a sacred thing to offer someone. And this work is honorable.
草归草，记得订阅我的频道 ，OK。记得订阅我的频道，各位朋友。
Sex work is hard, skilled labor, and especially as a queer Asian sex worker, it takes an exorbitant amount of
谢谢订阅，记得订阅。
to do this work. Of all the clients I've had, I'd say about 80% are white. I've had 3 Asian clients, and I've had 2 black clients. And not a single client that I've ever had didn't bring up my Asian heritage as a point of interest.
那我们现在一步去哪里啊？差不多了，应该差不多，对啊。
Most of my work is listening to the
好的，那再拍5分钟吧，看看还有什么动作，对。对。大家看到了这个building 就是走一段时间，这个菲律宾女人在这里打的，前面有好多警察，就是警察很紧张。
It's tiring having to be relayed about the humanitarian work that they did in Thailand.
我自己个人是很喜欢拍这个活动，应该是 ABC 在举办的，比较 freestyle， 然后就是。
Time and my energy is being paid. My heart really breaks so hard for the 6 Asian immigrant women who were slain in Atlanta a few weeks ago. Because they too did this terrible.
我刚才也跟警察叔叔拍了个合照。
At the massage parlor, they know very well when they massage people's hands back day after day. They worked low-wage jobs to literally steal the bodies of strangers. Yet their lives were so disregarded and disposable. The intersecting layers of racism, misogyny, classism, xenophobia, and xenophobia that kill these women is what we need to focus on. Why was your profession so mocked as cheap sexual favors that happy endings that patrons feel entitled to because they can exploit their power? Shame.
Shame.
These Asian workers typically come from immigrant backgrounds, sometimes undocumented, and their disadvantaged position is abused by those with money because these workers are not considered human in their eyes. I've been doing this work for 6 years, and this journey has been difficult, compromising my self-worth and my sacred gifts in order to get by. It has been difficult exploiting my own sexuality and healing only those who can afford my services. The 1% with expendable income, the white wealthy. But this work has also taught me many lessons, especially about enacting patience and listening. When we make space to open up to those who are different from us, that we would usually avoid, we get to have an experience to humanize each other and realize we actually all want the same thing: love, care, acceptance. I've learned how to be patient and understanding that we are all at different stages of our learning, how to care for one another. And a lot of times, these men that I work with, they end up caring for me because I care for them. And I hope that everyone that is here is able to learn more from the sex workers that do this work daily. Sex workers should not be blamed for the work they do. Society should be blamed for the disadvantaged position they put queer and trans, Black, Indigenous people of color that make sex work the most lucrative option for those with little other resources and accessible opportunities. The stigmatization and criminalization of sex work is what is killing us. And if you care about Asian lives, then you need to be pro-sex work, you need to be anti-carceral justice and anti-police. Our community demands defunding, de-investment in police funding, reinvestment in community work fortified initiatives, and then dismantling and abolishing the system altogether. I know that our community has been conditioned to turn to the police when seeking out accountability. We want to incarcerate all of these attackers against our community and punish them for the hate that they enacted. But as we know, as it is proven, more police presence is more harmful to our community than helpful, because their objective is actually not justice, but to further protect the white supremacist patriarchy. As we push for justice for our people, we must be mindful of how punitive and carceral justice only further harms us. We need to learn new methods of accountability that don't perpetrate this harm, but are rooted in transformative justice and care for one another. Sex worker lives matter. We are essential. We are one of the longest professions in human history, and we deserve to be respected and protected and learned from because we have an infinite wisdom to share. Fight for us because we fight for you. Love us because we love you. My name is Sammy Ken, and I am a proud queer, non-binary, Korean American, sex liberator, and sex worker. Thank you for participating today.
I'll make some noise for that. New York City, 2 weeks weeks ago, we made history. We brought 10,000 people to Chinatown to raise awareness on all the things that are happening in our communities. Today, Asian, Black, brown, all minority groups, LGBTQ+, we took over Times Square.
Wow!
South Asian hate was all over those banners. For us, we matter. We belong here. This is our home. We need to speak up. I see all of you guys and I see this love. This is why I do this. I do this for you guys. You know, 2 weeks ago when I did that rally, I didn't want to do any more. Okay, I'm done with me. And then the woman here was I said, God, you take over. You tell me what to do. And all I saw was Times Square light up with South Asian hate. So if we could dream it, we could believe it. You know, the first person I contacted to help me and support us in this rally was Kiera, right here. You see, we are different, but we are stronger together. We love each other. I will say this.
说的差不多了啊 ，OK， 好，那各位朋友们，那我们今天的拍摄就到此结束了。希望大家订阅我的频道，然后有纽约最新的，谢谢大家的收看。